Hey guys, I'm DM Scotty. Welcome to the craft. Today I'm going to show you how a well I worked on for AJ's Crypt. It's more like a trap, but you could take this technique and make regular wells or even pools. And this trap has multiple parts to it. One is the well. Another is a kind of an amorphous blob thing that comes out of the well. And the other is a nether portal that's on the floor above the well, right directly over it. So what I'm going to do with this video is show you the trap setup itself, actually on the table. And then if you're interested, you can go and watch the rest of what I did to make the parts itself. So that's kind of neat. So you can watch it and you can judge if you want to go and watch the next part to see how I made some of this stuff. Now I'm not going to show how I made the trap that comes out of the well, the blobby trap. The amorphous trap. It's very similar technique that I did to the Gorgon mud, so watch that video and you can see how I did that. And like I said, the trap has multiple parts. It has the well itself and the nether portal. So let's go to the table and I'll show you the trap in play. And then if you're interested, if you want to see some of the techniques, you can watch the rest of the video and I'll show you how I did what I did to craft it. So let's head to the table. Here I have a section of AJ's Crypt, and you can see I have this cool brackish well with this blackish liquid inside. And should give any venturing party kind of a pause there. And it looks pretty cool, just sits right on the tile there. And here's a guy for scale, so the guys come up. But the cool thing about this too is I have a trap that comes from the well. So I have something very similar to what I did to the Gorgon mud, but I added these kind of tendrils coming off, and these are just from a I did the same thing as I did the Gorgon mud. These are just from some icicles, plastic icicles that I got at the dollar store, and I attached those to the top to make it look like it's really reaching up. So that and that fits right in the well there. So got that, and then if it grabs a guy, if a guy tries to walk around, it could grab him, and then you could put him right in there, and they're trapped, and they have to try to figure out how to get him. So that oily substance like leaps out of the well and will attack. So that's kind of a cool little trap, but there's actually more to it. So if they do manage to avoid it or somehow abate it, and they get through, there is another level to AJ's Crypt. So if they go up, there's a level that's directly above this well part. So let me go to that floor and I'll show you. So here we go. Here's an innocent, or I guess not so innocent looking hallway in AJ's Crypt. And you know, an unsuspecting player comes along, not paying attention, and all of a sudden a nether portal opens up. They can fall through into the trap on the level directly below it, the well, or creatures could pass through it. If creatures were chasing the party, they could come through this nether portal and attack. So I thought that was a neat kind of way to have a trap spring up that the players can't visually cue on from anything, but they could find it maybe if they do some skill checks or something like that. Let me give you a look at this, and I thought they came out really neat. You got the glue gun texture on there, and I used some black pearlescent paint to give it a nice sheen, magical sheen, but still maintain that evil black kind of oily look. So now that I've shown you how this trap works and what it looks like, let's go to the table, and if you're interested, you can see how I constructed it. To trace the size of my well, I could use a protractor, but I'm going to use just a paint top from a paint can. So this is just a standard piece of cardboard, and I'm going to just trace it around. I want to do it fairly close to the edge because I'm actually going to use the scissors to cut this out. So I'm going to do 2 circles because I want one to be the bottom and one will be the top. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of draw a lip on this. I'm just going to guesstimate. You could use a protractor. All right, that's close enough. So I've got one circle and one with the circular part drawn, a little lip on it. So what I'll do now is I'm going to cut those out. So when I cut those out, they'll be like this. They'll look like this. Okay. So you can see that this is severed. So what I did was when I cut out the circle, and then I cut a straight line into it, and then cut around the inside of the circle. But I'll fix that with the glue gun and everything. So now my next step will just be to glue all this down. What I have here is a fairly thin piece of cardstock. And make sure when you cut this, it's 1/4 inch wide. Make sure when you cut this, it's long enough to go all the way around this, or you've just wasted your time and you may have to pull it off or try to cover it up. So now I'll just start attaching it. And just work your way around. Don't try to bite off more than you can chew at once. Don't burn yourself. Usually I use Elmer's glue on the cardstock like this, but since it's a circular disc, it needs that strength that the hot glue will give it, so I'm going to use the hot glue. So now we've got that halfway done, so what I'll do is I'll put the rest around, glue the rest on the disc there, and then we'll talk more about the well. Now that I've got this all the way wrapped around, and you see I have a little bit left, so I'll just clip that off. And so now I do have a little bit of gap between some of these, so I'm going to hit it with a little bit of glue gun. And what I'll do is I will do the whole thing with some glue gun, so it gives a little bit of texture and kind of hides the fact that I've glued the edge there. This will look pretty nice. I'm not adding too much, just a little bit. All right, now we'll let that harden up and move on to the next step. So now that is hardened up, I want to add a little bit of texture around the outside as well. So I'll just do the same thing. I'll grab my small glue gun and then just put some glue on there and smear it out. Give it a little bit of texture. It'll also hide that kind of dimple where I joined the two pieces of cardstock. So you can kind of smooth it out, and then kind of go back and add a little bit of texture. And then we'll just work our way around there, and then we'll be back for the next step. Got my well all painted with the texture paint. It looks really nice. So what I want to do is I want to do a little bit of texture inside this well. This is going to be from the AJs Crypt, and I was going to do something weird in here. So I'm going to use my big glue gun and just start squirting glue, and I'm going to do kind of a spirally pattern. Just want to build up some texture. All right, so I've got that. So I'll just let that dry. I'll get missed a little spot here. So I'm going to do something different with this than I did with the well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make it kind of like a trap, like it's not there and then all of a sudden it appears. So I'm going to get the shape of the paint top, which is the same shape I used for the well. So, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of draw some areas coming off of that. So what I'll do is I'll cut that out. All right, so I've got that cut out. So now I'm going to paint it the same texture because I want it to blend into the floor. But I'm going to do some detail with the glue gun. So I'll go ahead and paint that up, and then we'll come back and do the glue gun texture. So here my thin cardboard is dried. It has the stone texture of the crypt. And I'm going to use my large glue gun, and I'm going to start doing some detail on it. So I'm going to do kind of a circular, irregular circle. Okay. So now I will let that dry, and then I'll go to the, I'm going to add some detail after that hardens up. So my kind of pool is dried, and now I'm going to take my smaller glue gun, and I'm going to do some other detail with it. I want to have kind of some tendrils coming out of this thing. So I'll start pulling the tendrils, doing lines, and then kind of taper them off. And the trick to this kind of stuff is to kind of keep an even pressure. So up here, these are coming out of this black pool. All right. There we go. This is going to be hard to see, but maybe if I move it around a bit, you can. All right, so the next part is we will let these harden up, and then we'll paint them up. Hey crafters, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the DM's Craft. Make sure to subscribe, and I have tons of other videos, as you can see. I am the originator of the 2.5D method of crafting tiles. I also do dirt cheap terrain for the table. If all this intrigues you, make sure you check out all the videos below. Also, join my forum. We have lots of great crafters on there who give advice. I have a link above and below. And last but not least, remember, go forth and craft!